Hello. So, I would like to share with you a video from my dear mentor, Mark David, from the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. And in this video, we're going to look about how pleasure helps you burn calories, but it's way beyond that. So the calorie burn is a consequence of the deeper fulfillment that we feel when we integrate pleasure into our life. Now, being able to feel pleasure might be a very tricky thing, actually. It might be a trigger to our system to feel pleasure because we have a lot of baggage that this is holding. So pleasure could be a great way to train as we eat. So now I would like to show you Mark David's short video for 5 minutes, and then I will give you my thoughts on this. So then you can all start marinating in this and seeing how this applies to you. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, share the sound. This is fun. It's like a movie. Movie day. Sorry, I'm trying to put my password. Um, what? This was funky. I hope it's working now. Okay.
Greetings, friends. I'm Mark David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Let's talk about how pleasure helps us calorie burn. Who would have thunk of that? How pleasure helps us calorie burn. So here's the deal. We are living in a world right now where people have some pretty intense struggles with food and body. And that's a straightforward fact. You know this. Now, because of how so many people are feeling challenged around weight and body image and overeating and binge eating and emotional eating and more, food is often seen as the enemy. And when food is seen as the enemy, pleasure is often seen as the enemy. Why? Because if I'm getting pleasure from food, my goodness, I'm going to want more of it. And then if I want more of it, I'm not going to stop eating. And if I don't stop eating, I'm going to keep gaining weight. And if I keep gaining weight, no one's going to love me and life is going to be miserable. So people can have a fear of pleasure even though they want it. Now, this is pretty interesting because when we fear pleasure but secretly crave it, it's kind of like having one foot on the gas and one foot on the brakes at the same time. It just makes a lot of smoke and there's a lot of smelly burning rubber. It's confusing and it doesn't really get us anywhere. So it's time to see pleasure in a more complete way. Here's what I mean. Pleasure is a literal and scientific metabolic enhancer. All creatures, every organism, all humans, everything on the planet is programmed at the most primitive level, if you're a living being, programmed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. When a lion is eating a deer, it's not hating on the deer, it loves the deer, it's looking for pleasure, the pleasure of food. Now, pleasure has a psychophysiologic purpose. I'm going to tell you how pleasure helps you calorie burn more efficiently. So the body optimally digests, assimilates, and calorie burns in the physiologic relaxation response. That is simple science, my friends, that we have known since the 1930s. You have to be in a relaxed state to be in your optimum nutritional metabolism. Now, check this out. Pleasure catalyzes a relaxation response. And the relaxation response is where you optimally digest, assimilate, and calorie burn. Pleasure catalyzes a relaxation response. What does that even mean? You come home from a rough day at work, somebody gives you a nice massage. What's the first thing you do? Or you're feeling really tense and you play your favorite music and you relax. So pleasure tells the body to relax. It literally drives our body into a heightened state of digestion, assimilation, and day in, day out calorie burning. That's crazy. That's amazing. Now, okay, you're probably thinking, oh, well, that means I can have all the pleasure I want and I can eat all the garbage I want and that's okay. No, come on, you got to be smart. The sun is good for you. The sun is the greatest thing in your life. Does that mean you should roast yourself out in it for hours and torture yourself to a crisp? No. Pleasure is an intelligence. You have to learn how to do pleasure with wisdom and experience, but you can't sweep it under the rug. You can't think that pleasure is your enemy. It's your friend. And you have to learn how to befriend it, because when you learn how to befriend it, and this is your dance with the food, the dance with your body, you experiment, you learn, and you let the joy of life come into your body when you eat, because when you do, it changes your metabolism. And when you change your metabolism in that way, you start to calorie burn your food more fully. You're giving yourself all that you want. You're giving yourself your optimum metabolism, and you're giving yourself your best experience of food and of life. How good is that, my friends? And how amazing that that's the magic of life. So I hope this was helpful, my friend.
Wow. Stop share. Oof. This man, honestly, big mentor of mine. Big mentor of mine. And it's because it's not about the food, it's about who we are as eaters, right? So this is where the pleasure is something that is extremely important to look at, extremely important, because if we're looking for pleasure from food, but we're not getting it because we're in such a stress response that all we can think about is survival, or shame, we are closing off to life. We're closing off. So here, what we want to look at is how can we melt these barriers so we can really feel pleasure. We can allow ourselves to feel pleasure instead of finding ways to punish ourselves. So just taking a deep breath in and breathing out. After having watched this video, what shows up for you? What's your relationship to pleasure? Let's just keep it as open as that. What's your relationship to pleasure? Or what came up for you in the video? Wow, this is so juicy. So good. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear you in the videos below. All right. See ya.